Hi everybody, it's me, Beth Maitland, and I'm coming to you from Drama Queen Bee Quilt Studio. Thank you for joining me. This is post number 3 in our process of building the beautiful Writer's Block quilt, which is a collection of 80 plus individual blocks. None are the same, no two are alike. And remember that in vlog post 2 we did this block and this block. We're not going to build a block today. I might have mentioned in vlog number 1, in post number 1, that I had done a bunch of improvisational, I spent about 4 or 5 hours just fiddling around with fabric and creating several improvisational blocks. I don't mean that they were little bitty bits and I did crumb quilting and it was crazy. I mean, just putting fabrics together to see what they look like. And I wanted to show you some of those blocks. I'm going to take you over to, actually, this isn't bad. I don't have to take you over to the table. This is one of them. And it's in the lighter aqua hues. And I don't know, again, how these are all going to shake out. What I'm targeting is 8 or 8.5 inch blocks to be trimmed down to approximately 8 inches once we're all done. Each block will then be framed with a thin frame or sash of black, solid black. So again, I'm trying out different colorways to see. Here's another. And what I mean by improvisational also is that I just grabbed a handful of the fabrics I selected, laid them out on the cutting table, and started subcutting. I cut them up into little strips and little bits, and I started building blocks around them, sewing things together that looked kind of good. And I may keep some of these, I may not. You can see what we did here. These are all really simple blocks because the flavor is modern. There won't be any pinwheels. There won't be any hearts. It's not going to be fussy in any way. It's more of the modern feel. These are some really fun fabrics that I got in a layer cake pack of, and they're elements. And so they are combine all of the colors sort of in almost like a cement surface way. But any prints you see are from a little cake. What did I get? A layer cake, I think. I got a little layer cake of cake facet collective. Sorry, that I don't finish, and I should. Anyway, those are surrounded with some lighter shades. Here's some darker shades, some darker in the teals and blues. And again, I just started I subcut some things into some shapes, and my goal was to build the blocks out and make them approximately 8 to 8.5 inches. At the end, when I finished my pile of blocks, I will then go back and trim everything down, and before I apply the black border, I'm going to cut everything down. It may end up that they're 7 3/4 if things are a little short. Again, cave in the prints and some solids. These are all Kona solids, by the way, in beautiful colors that match our colorway, and some more of that sort of cement elements. I just love it. And again, some of these won't make the cut, and so I'm quilting side by side a second quilt I'm constructing that takes all the orphan blocks that don't go in this colorway once I lay it all out. This may be a little bit on the light side for our needs. We'll see when we start sewing it all together. But you can see I just spent the afternoon putting bits together. These are not official blocks in any way. These are not, there's no pattern for these blocks. I just started making things up. And the goal was just to keep whatever my end measurement of the block, between 8 and 8.5 inches, to trim down at some point and just make a stack of things. And as I do, I'm going to start laying things out, and on a design board or a design wall, we'll see what I end up doing. Again, these two, you can see, are kind of the same shape. I think this one might be a little more narrow, and I don't know, I can't remember. But you can see that that's the same construction, but looks really different with the different fabrics I used. So it's another way to, and this one started out as sort of an improvisational block. I just had these two that were left cut off of an end, and then I added some, and then I added some, and then I added some to get to my 8.5 inches. So again, really amazing colorways, and maybe they'll all be darks in the bigger quilt. Maybe they'll all be mishmash. Maybe they'll be darks and lights, and some of the more toward gray hues in the lighter aqua teals won't work with I'm going to lay it all out again with the samples that she sent, her wallpaper and her paint and her carpet. And this is like the other ones, but not like it, because it has its own outer border as well. And again, none of these will be the same because of the different kinds of fabrics used and the different, I mean, this one, you can see, was one strip, and I just sliced it down the middle and flipped it. So super simple block construction, which is great and makes everything go fairly quickly. And instead of a larger border like the other two you saw that looked alike, I added this scrappy piece. You know, an afternoon in the studio well spent. This is what I meant by this sort of blue colorway. I'm this bluish grayish toward gray. She wants more warm and honey and brown. So the darker fabrics, the darker samples, we'll see if that works. That may end up in my quilt. Anyway, that's what I wanted to update you on. That's what I've been doing in the studio. Been busy back and forth. It's actually a really beautiful day here in the Central Coast. And I am happy to be back a little bit on the Young and the Restless, so it interrupts my flow in the quilt studio, but what a sacrifice I'm happy to make. And so I hope that you, the other announcement is that I am building a website, an official Drama Queen Bee Quilts website. And I probably, this should be maybe a vlog post that is separate from our quilt building. So maybe I will stop now and then restart and put a separate standalone post about the process of the website and leaving Etsy and leaving other marketplaces and why. So we will, this is sort of a little, let's see, what do you call that? A trailer? No. A little pitch for the next video. In the meantime, thank you for joining me today to watch me sort of develop the various blocks. I will come back with a couple of other block tutorials when I find some interesting regimented block ideas so that we can all quilt together at one time. The stack I just showed you, though, I just laid out bits of fabric. I cut 2.5-inch strips, 3-inch strips, 4-inch strips. There was a 5-inch square layer cake, and I left that in place. Sometimes I cut those in half to add to other strips, and I just started laying everything out and piecing everything together. And the subcutting and all of that, it was very informal and freeing. It was a really fun afternoon of just playing with color and print and solid and fabric and the combinations that make everything its very own individual look, as you saw. So thank you again for joining me for this little number 3 in the process of building the writer's block quilt for my friend. And I hope that you will stay tuned and join me next time as we quilt along together. All the very best to you in this lovely, beautiful Central Coast spring weekend. I hope where you are, it's warm and sunny. And if it isn't, I hope you're inside where it's cozy. Everybody stay well, stay safe, and be kind. It's your friend Beth Maitland at Drama Queen Bee Quilts. Thank you.